Building a house in the medieval times was not only a labor achievement, but also a continuous testament to perseverance, resourcefulness, and community spirit. There were no shortcuts, no blueprints passed down from experts, and certainly no guarantees of help. At the heart of every house was the determination of farmers who needed shelter from the biting cold, from lurking wolves, and from the relentless demands of daily life. Securing a place to build is the first challenge among many. In a world where land is owned by lords and powerful churches rule, peasants consider themselves lucky to receive a piece of land, usually by permission, sometimes secretly. Often they live, farm, and raise their families on land they will never own, dependent on the will or goodwill of those above them. With so much land out of reach, location becomes a delicate balance of necessity and wisdom. The edge of the forest is valued for its available wood and firewood. A stream means nearby water and some protection against disease. The bravest sometimes clear wild forests, a bold and illegal act, risking fines or harsher punishments in hopes of gaining a piece of land to call their own. For medieval farmers, the ideal building location was a practical one. It had to avoid low-lying areas prone to flooding, stay away from dense thickets where insects thrived, and keep a distance from marshy areas that caused rot and disease. And although villages did not appear overnight, over many generations there was a gradual migration, slowly abandoning unsuitable places decade by decade in favor of more fertile land and better water sources. The best location provided three things: clean and accessible water, nearby wood, and land that promised stability even in the harshest weather. Once a spot has been chosen and marked, the work of gathering materials begins. There is no option to order delivery. Every piece of wood, every bundle of reeds or straw, every stone and branch must be chopped, carried, or dragged home. The forest laws are very strict, and every axe blow risks attracting the attention of resource protectors fiercely. Some types of wood can be freely collected, such as fallen branches for firewood, but not green trunks, which are certainly needed to make the framework of the house. Permission, if granted, rarely comes cheaply. However, the motivation to seek warmth, safety, and a degree of comfort overcame all obstacles. Cutting wood with dull tools, often passed down from that time, was truly hard work. With simple axes and wedges, the farmers worked in small groups, combining strength and endurance to chop stubborn logs and split them by hand. Timing was everything. Trees were felled in winter when the sap had drained, producing stronger wood. Green wood, although easier to shape, had to be dried slowly to avoid cracks caused by rushed construction. Oak wood became the pillar and backbone of many medieval houses, its strength celebrated and durability respected over centuries. For the walls, softer and more flexible woods like hazel and willow were gathered, very suitable for weaving between the central posts to form a lattice that holds the walls. With heavy logs painstakingly hauled home, sometimes from miles away over muddy, dangerous roads, families had to rely on each other and their neighbors. Each trip could be the last for a pair of hands. Robbery, wild animals, or accidents in the forest were always present dangers. Thus, wood gathering became a community task, creating a culture of shared effort and survival. The next stage, erecting the house frame, brings the whole community together. Medieval houses, even the smallest ones, required more people than a single family could provide. With trust and teamwork, neighbors gathered to dig deep holes, anchor stone posts to prevent rot, and join beams using ancient mortise and tenon techniques. The famous mortise and tenon joints, a meticulous process of carving wooden tongues to fit precisely into corresponding mortises, created a sturdy and durable frame, held firmly by wooden pegs. Lifting the roof beams is a moment of intense tension and the entire group's focus. The heavy wooden beams, slippery from rain or sweat, require the strength of many people to pull and position. Ropes, props, and raw strength are used to align the frame, and each successful lift brings a moment of shared pride. Refusing such help means risking isolation from the village, a harsh punishment in a world where every hand matters. With the frame of the house already erected, the structure began to look like a house for the first time. But a shelter needs more than sturdy beams. It requires walls to block wind and rain. The solution was wattle and daub, a simple but effective technology using what the land provided. Thin, flexible branches were woven between upright posts, forming a lattice. On top of that, families applied multiple layers of a mixture made from clay, soil, straw, and animal dung. The process of making earth mortar is a community effort, trampling, mixing, and applying the mixture by hand and foot until it becomes thick and uniform. Children often help, turning the messy work into a fun mud game. The discomfort is endured for the sake of survival. Surprisingly, the mixture, when applied and left to dry, becomes hard and has insulating properties, and a light lime wash makes the interior shiny, repelling insects and somewhat weather-resistant. Within the walls and dirt layers, traces of primitive chemistry appear. Manure helps the earth mortar bind and harden, with the ammonia content acting as an ancient adhesive. When the mortar dries, the final barrier against the world is placed on top, the roof. Most roofs are covered with straw, using thick bundles of straw or reeds, carefully layered and fixed to the frame. The art of roofing requires mastery, a craft passed down by skilled roofers who rarely go hungry. The roof is designed to be sloped so that rainwater and snow can easily run off, and when well maintained, it can last for decades. But the risk is clear. A small spark from the ever-burning hearth below can set the house on fire, turning years of hard work into ashes within an hour. Life under that roof was a balance between comfort and basic needs. The floor was originally just packed earth, firmly trampled by countless footsteps, often sloped for drainage. Straw, sand, shells, and even herbs were mixed into the floor to reduce mud and moisture. Furniture, when present, was crude but practical. Benches along the walls that could double as beds, and rough tables that could be disassembled to create space. Storage is arranged on every possible surface, baskets hanging from beams, root vegetables packed in clay-lined pits, hooks full of tools, coats, or miscellaneous items. Every square inch is important. During the harshest winters, livestock sometimes take shelter inside, sharing a bit of warmth from the stove and adding to the damp, earthy smell of the single room. Fire is the center of all life. Most houses do not have chimneys, only a hole in the roof and possibly a small vent in the wall. Smoke rises and escapes, blackening the beams, irritating the eyes, and leaving every surface covered with a layer of soot. The fireplace is used to generate heat, cook, and provide light. Its dangers are only balanced by its necessity. Bread is baked in lidded pots, stews are simmered over an open flame, and the smoke itself also serves as a rudimentary preservative, preventing insects and decay. Maintenance never stops. Walls need to be repaired regularly, cracks filled, and fresh whitewash applied to prevent rot and mold. The thatched roof must be continuously inspected, patching one spot, replacing another bundle of straw. Each repair prevents dampness and disaster. The floor needs to be supplemented and leveled again. Wooden beams creak under the effects of time and weather, requiring frequent repairs, support, and sometimes complete replacement. In such a house, privacy is as rare as comfort. Families of 6, 8, or more cram into a single space. The beds are long wooden shelves piled with straw, and sometimes even livestock during the coldest months. Every family member, old and young, male and female, works together, bonded by hardship and hope. The day begins at dawn, measured by the sunlight shining through an inconceivably small window. All daily tasks take place around the hearth: cooking, spinning yarn, carving, mending clothes, and thatching the roof. Washing was infrequent. Water had to be drawn from the nearest stream or well, and full bathing, a luxury, happened only occasionally. However, life still thrived. Children learned trades and listened to stories from the elders, who passed down unwritten rules about the profession, cooperation, and repair. Evenings were a time for storytelling, laughter, and the eternal rhythm of daily work. Fire, floods, and storms can destroy a farmer's house, but the knowledge of how to rebuild and the neighborly spirit that has bonded the whole village remains. Despite their humble origins, Medieval houses are wonders of adaptation, made from available resources, maintained with skill and sweat, and regarded by the generations who lived in them not only as shelter, but also as the heart of their world. Building a medieval house meant blending with nature and essential needs, using what was available, and relying on those around you. It was not just a survival process, but also a quiet perseverance, a process of turning cold earth and rough wood into warmth, safety, and the heart of a family. Despite being centuries apart, humble houses and the resilient people within still echo lessons of endurance, creativity, and collective effort.